Global Farmer Network is all about amplifying farmers' voices and stories. And we here at the Global Farmer Network are so excited to be able to continue to support those farmer stories. Hello, I'm Delaney Howell, and today we're taking the Global Farmer Network conversation to Puerto Rico. Efren Robles, a Puerto Rican farmer and Global Farmer Network member, has been through a lot of challenges during his farming career. Although he didn't start out with a background in farming or a career in the agriculture field, he decided to make the transition later in life with his wife. Efren's been through a lot of challenges, including Hurricane Maria and the COVID-19 pandemic, which really impacted the way he's ran his sustainable farm. Let's turn it over to that conversation with Efren now. Let's start with your background because you didn't grow up on a farm, but you found yourself becoming a farmer later in life.
Yeah, I grew up in an animal environment, but mostly the things that I enjoy the most was working around farms. But I'm an industrial mechanic. I work with purified water system. That's kind of our background here in Puerto Rico, in the area that we live in. There was a lot of pharmaceuticals due to the quality of the water. You know, they came back in the 60s and the 70s, and this was like the motor of the town. You know, working on a pharmaceutical was like one of the highest paying jobs in the area, and that changed a little bit. So we find something that we really like, and we move into this farm to table platform that we love.
Yeah, so how did you go from becoming a mechanical engineer to becoming a farmer?
Well, it was easy because I like the environment, but to do it commercially, it has a lot of benefits to be a mechanic because you know you have a lot of equipment and a lot of mechanical activities on the farm. Just to give you an example, we started with hydroponics. My wife is a chemist and I'm an industrial mechanic, so we understand flows, pumps, chemistry a little bit. So we were able to start going from there. And we like to continue educating, so we are basically seeing what's happening and having our ear in ground, listening to chefs, understanding what's needed and producing based on that. So it's kind of a very fun thing to do, you know what I mean? We're in the romantic time of farming. You know, the gastronomy in Puerto Rico has developed tremendously in the past couple of years, the integration of new products that are not commonly used. That's kind of what we do. We consider our farm, which is kind of a small size farm, but the impact, you know, is very big. We consider an agro-culinary canvas, meaning that we develop and we discover and we understand and we educate people around food and on the table. So that's kind of the best tool we have, you know, education and make it fun, you know, make a salad to taste better, to include like comestible flowers and decorate the desserts. But those desserts are being decorated with the flowers that we use to get the bees to pollinize our farm. So everything has to be tied up together. It's all about sustainability.
I love that. And we're going to dig into that a little bit more because you guys have such a unique experience that people can come to your farm and participate in. So, Frutos del Guagabaca,
Yep.
located there in Puerto Rico. Tell us about all the different things that you're doing. You mentioned hydroponics, you mentioned a gastronomy experience. Talk to us about how all of those things fit together.
Well, they've been getting to it in an organic matter. You know, we didn't design this when we started. It was just things that, like for example, we start delivering leaves, and the restaurant asked us if we could deliver fruits. So we start talking to farmers, and we create this hub. But Wacabo, it has a couple different segments. The main segment is to distribute food and products to restaurants and hotels. That's like our core business. We listen to chefs. We produce based on that. Those farming plants are distributed in a network of about 50 farmers in the north central area. We acquire that product and then we manage the post harvest directly to the end user using a short delivery chain, meaning that the products, the nutritional value of the products are going to be better because it's shorter time between harvesting and getting to the plate. That's one. The second main one is to develop new products. We work a lot with flowers, comestible flowers, for example, blue tie pea, lemon drop. We do microgreens. So we listen to what the chef needs. We do it on a small scale, and then we pass that information to other farmers. And the one that we've been working on lately that we enjoy the most is agro-tourism. What we do is we have a sensorial experience with where people can come into a farm environment and understand smell, taste, understand the small ecosystem that we create to be able to produce those uh, veggies or herbs or flowers. We also have goats at the farm. We have sheep, so people can actually milk the goats. We do classes, for example, how to make goat cheese, how to make yam, and all these things are there to see and make and try to have people to understand the whole process on a small scale, diversified farm. And it's something that we believe that we can touch on people and make sure that people have a difference in their lives. I mean, meaning that in Puerto Rico, we import a lot of food. It's about 85%. So it's the same percentage as probably any of the other states, for example, but we need to be able to touch on the fair response, and that's something that we try to push. We've been through storms such as Maria, we've been through pandemia, so everything changed the logistics on the world. So we are promoting to produce locally. At the beginning, Wacabo was working, locally with products, and we call the community the close by community. But there's a culinary community that travels just to taste and understand all these flavors. So we've been working and collaborating and all with the company of tourism. We do like tours for cruise ships, for schools, for professionals such as nutritionists, like the chefs. They come into the farm. We do a tour so they can design menus on the things that are trending or the things that are commonly. So, like I say, we're a canvas. We work around food. We love to sit down in a table with people. The power of sitting on a table, sometimes, it's amazing. Where the best things in life, to me, happen on a table, from business to family reunions. So we use the power of family sharing and family style to have people in contact with the farm, and that's kind of what we do.
I love that. And I think food is such a unique experience, and it's one that really everyone can find a common connection in. So when you bring people to your farm, you mentioned a large variety of visitors that you're getting, from school kids to organizations, chefs, business professionals. Once they've seen the farm, they've felt the soil, they've tried the different products that you mentioned, the microgreens, et cetera, they've milked the goat, and then they go to eat it. What kind of experience does that create for them, and what kind of feedback have you seen, or what kind of changes have you seen in people after
Yeah.
they've made that connection?
When they hear about what they're gonna get or what they're gonna be doing at the farm is one thing. At the end, when you ask them how was it, they never expected that it was gonna be that way, because you're playing a lot with senses, with smells, with taste. So it's a very interesting experience. Usually people tend to like one segment of the business more than others. For example, one like the animals better, but one sees the aquaponics or the hydroponics with more, in the science. We try to teach the science behind it. So we try to make it as cool as possible so more people can get involved. So everybody, that goes in there have a relaxing, ground, cool experience. We try to make it as fun as possible, and the food is great. We have a kitchen at the farm where we do all these events, from lunch to 5-course dinner with wine pairing. So, like I say, we try to be a canvas for chefs to come by and meet farmers and have this on connections and understand of what the food change is about.
So you also mentioned Hurricane Maria, which has been one of the worst hurricanes in history, that
Yeah.
obviously decimated a lot of Puerto Rico. Was the farm already in place before Maria, or was it created in response to helping rebuild the food system after Maria?
Yeah. Well, we started in 2010. So when Maria hit, we were on our 6th year. Well, we thought that we were on our peak. Everything was working fine, and all of a sudden this happened. But today, I mean, it was very difficult to go through Maria. Very hardworking. The logistic was very difficult. We do have we have support from our organizations such as World Central Kitchen, local organizations such as Para Naturaleza, and some others that we were able to establish a game plan to be able to start not only the food change, but also the economy. It's very important that, you start up the economy after one of these events. And as today, we see a benefit. It was like a boot camp. In other words, going through Maria was very difficult. And you learn how to operate based on that. But out of a sudden, they changed the answer on the test. Now, instead of giving you another storm, they give you a pandemic, which is a completely different game plan. So at the end of the day, what we try to teach people is that if you're closer to the food source, and you understand the food source a little better, things are gonna get better on the way. So it's that's the principle. We were talking about Maria the other day in a recap, and it was very emotional because we went through a very difficult time. But as today we see it in a positive way. We learn a lot. We design things a bit different. We learn how to mitigate. If we talk about resiliency, we'll be talking about 2 hours. It's a constant resiliency here. So but at the end of the day, if you're closer to the food source, everybody wins.
And so you mentioned this earlier, and I just want to hit on it again, but Puerto Rico imports about 85% of their food. And so, as you mentioned, having a local food source obviously cuts down on those number of imports. And during challenging times, it probably makes it easier for folks to get food from the local community. It's probably healthier. It's supporting the local community. Lots of benefits, really, to
it's
growing
sustainable.
food. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
sustainable. The impact is not one thing. It's all over. It's a beneficial for the economy, for any emergencies that we get, for the nutritional value of the products that can be distributed on short distribution chain. I don't expect to be 0% importation, but the higher we can go, the better it's gonna be for the people. And also understanding the value of some of the products, because some people can talk about lettuce or leaves, for example, and a lettuce does not have the same nutritional value as a kale. So the price is going to be a bit different, but when people are starting to understand this, they seem to manage it very well.
So I think it's really safe to say, yeah, I think it's safe to say really that you're kind of a change agent for your local community and for the Puerto Rico system, because you're really kind of at the forefront of trying to get people to understand why it's important to have that local food ecosystem. So talk to us a little bit about some of the efforts you're doing to help teach the community about food sustainability.
Well, we work a lot with collaborations, using different entities, chefs, local artists, trying to make people understand the value of using the local products, for example, on a recipe or a protein in your home where you can use it, on 2-3 times a week, the impact that protein will have on the benefit of the health and the economy of that. So it's an education, journey. We try to speak not only about Puerto Rico, but about the local production, around the world. I've been doing some traveling, and everywhere you go, it's kind of the same principle. You have to understand what food processes are being going through, and it's something that we use the chefs as, to make it a trend on these new healthy products, trying to change a little bit the diet of the regular families, and trying to compete with the gastronomy worldwide. We got great products, and we have great skills and great talented people. And what we're trying to do is provide the chefs with all these great products so they can compete. And at the same time, that's going to create a snowball, of people trying to imitate what they do, but trying to also cultivate those products to make sure that they can develop great plates.
Absolutely. And I think it's such a unique experience. I hope someday to get to Puerto Rico and
Please, we look
but
forward to.
you've had some really high profile visitors here over the last few years, including Zac Efron, who's a really well known American actor, who's done a recent Netflix program talking about a lot of different areas. But one of the countries they highlighted in the program was Puerto Rico. And you're the star of the program. So how did you get lined up to do this Netflix program?
Well, we've been lucky that after the storm, we work closer with World Central Kitchen, and a lot of volunteers got into Puerto Rico. For us, being on TV is not about showing our business. It's about showing what we do in Puerto Rico and how we can benefit the island and make sure that more people can come in. So for us, having the media, we out of a sudden we have a lot of international media: New York Times, Washington Post, El País. We were in HBO, in Amazon Prime, in Netflix, and all this is the way we see it is that we expose what we do because it's something that can be done globally. And if we can have a good impact on the community, that's what we're focusing on. So with SAG, it was very cool. He said, I know SAG from TV all my life, and the way he see that all these sustainability issues and the way we're trying to address it is very amazing. It's very focused on certain segments that can benefit, what we do. So it was a very interesting view. We also have Jose Andres, Martha Stewart was here in the farm, and a lot of people that came just to promote Puerto Rico, and we were lucky enough to have them in our facility. So we were very honored.
Yes, it was an amazing program. I encourage anyone watching to go check it out on Netflix. But I think that's a good segue into my final question, and it's probably the biggest question to answer. But when you look at the future of Puerto Rico and the food system within Puerto Rico, where do you hope to see Puerto Rico in 5, 10, and 15 years? How are we going to get there?
Well, we have almost all the soils in the world except for the frozen. We have great skilled people that can actually do work. Now the farmers are looking more into the science behind farming, not like this old stereotype of the farmer working to death with their kids and they don't want them to do this. So a lot of people are coming into this farming, and we hope that we can understand better the food change. Once people understand better what's happening and how to grow food, we were made to grow food, you know. So it's something that naturally will come into you. And if you're not become a farmer, you at least will respect what farmers are doing and will put your money in that segment. So we hope to produce a little bit more as far as food, but as far as education and conscience, we want to continue to do that. I think that's the key of having making sure that the local communities, no matter where you are, can understand what that farmer does and can go support them and can go see, how can they develop menus based on that and how can they make links that benefit the community. So that's our goal, that's our plan. Some people ask us if we want to go bigger, what we want to do, and I think we found a good spot where I think that we can provide society and the community something, a seed that can be exploded in different forms. So we want to focus on continue with the agri-tourism, the education, maintaining the locals, understanding the greatness of their products. We have great products here and how you can use them different with different technologies, sous vide, for example, and all these new kitchen technologies. And that's where I want to see ourselves in a couple more years. Continue to work on this, I understand that is something that is necessary for anything you do in life. If you, no matter what you do, you gotta eat 3 times a day. So we need to understand the food system. So that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Food is something that unites all people because everyone eats, like you said, hopefully 3 meals a day. But Efren, this has been so interesting to learn more about your story and your background. So thanks for joining.
Thank you.